of mine. Welcome back to History, Horror, and More. This is our third episode. Can you believe it? Well, this is a very important episode because, well, yesterday was International Women's Day, but let's be real. International Women's Day is every day. March is Women's History Month, so there's going to be a bunch of episodes this month dealing with women in horror, a little bit of women's history sprinkled in, and all kinds of different genres and different types of movies. So today we are going to talk about my absolute favorite queen of horror, Sarah Michelle Gellar. But before we get into that, I just want to say I have so many powerful women in my life. My mom, my sister. I have so many powerful friends. I have just the most amazing amount of actual goddesses in my life. So happy Women's History Month to you. Happy Women's History Month to all my viewers. We all come from a woman, so let's be real. Getting down to business. If you know me, you know that Sarah Michelle Gellar and Buffy the Vampire Slayer are my absolute favorite things. And if you don't know, now you know. I have 2 tattoos dedicated to my queen. The first one, take a shot. The first one is Buffy's tombstone, done by the ultra-talented Matthew Seiler. And the second most recent one I just got is a homage to Cece in Scream 2 and her ultimate demise. This one was done by Michael Kennedy at Dead Serious Tattoos in Willow Springs, Illinois. I forgot to mention that Matthew Seiler is at Regeneration Tattoos in Boston. So if you are in either of those areas, please reach out to them. Super amazing and super good work. Michael has done majority of mine. So patronize your local tattoo artists. Travel to them, enjoy them. So getting down to business. We are going to discuss Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Now, not only is this an amazing show, it has a really banger intro, collage, and song. Into each generation, a Slayer is born. That is Buffy's opening line. She is a Slayer. She comes from a long line of women who has been chosen to fight the forces of evil, vampires, darkness, monsters, whatever the world throws at her. She attends high school in the fictional town Sunnydale, and she goes to Sunnydale High, which is, spoiler alert, take a shot. Spoiler alert to anyone that hasn't watched the show. If you haven't, the show ran from 97 to 2003, so start watching it. Sunnydale High School is located on top of the Hellmouth, which is the reason for all the mystical energy and the reason why Buffy has been called to that specific area. What's great about Buffy is it breaks a lot of tropes in women's history, and it's specifically women in horror. It allows the show to be a platform for women to be strong, whether they're placed in a good category or a bad category. The show does do a very good job of illustrating both. The representation of women in a place of power that they can hold over men in a dominated field, which you may ask yourself, if the Slayer is a woman, what do you mean by male dominated? Well, she has a watcher, Mr. Giles, who's almost like a father figure to her. And he reports to the Watchers Council in London, which I'm going to play one of my favorite speeches by her in just a second. She breaks the damsel in distress trope. She is able to harness power, and then later in season, all seasons, but later in one season specifically, she's able to pass that power on to a new generation of potential Slayers. Lots of great female characters. We have some villains, Drusilla, Glory. We have Cordelia. Which Cordelia is interesting because she gets a really awesome story arc in the sister show Angel. We get Darla. We get Anya, a former demon. We get Willow and Tara, witches. We get, the saddest of all, we get Dawn, the Key, played by the phenomenal Michelle Trachtenberg. Rest in peace. She just passed. Her role was very integral to a lot of the end half of the series. So, that being said, I am going to play my favorite clip. Buffy is all about giving speeches, and as she should. So I'm going to play this clip, and then we'll discuss.
Skip the more obvious questions.
There isn't going to be a review.
Sorry?
No review. No interrogation. No questions you know I can't answer. No hoops. No jumps. No interruptions. See, I've had a lot of people talking at me the last few days. Everyone just lining up to tell me how unimportant I am. And I finally figured out why. Power. I have it. They don't. This bothers them. Glory came to my home today.
Buffy, are you...
Just to talk. She told me I'm a bug, I'm a flea. She could squash me in a second. Only she didn't. She came into my home, and we talked. We had what in her warped brain probably passes for a civilized conversation. Why? Because she needs something from me. Because I have power over her. You guys didn't come all the way from England to determine whether or not I was good enough to be let back in. You came to beg me to let you back in. To give your jobs, your lives, some semblance of meaning.
This is beyond insolence.
I'm fairly certain I said no interruptions.
That was excellent.
Now, amazing speech by Buffy. This is important because although Giles is her watcher, throughout the season she ends up surpassing him in knowledge, fighting skills, basically everything. Despite dying twice in the series, she has lived a lot longer than other Slayers, which also makes her incredibly important to the Slayer lineage and the multiple apocalypse events that take place. So, when she dies the first time, she activates a Slayer named Kendra. Spoiler alert. Kendra is amazing, battle ready. You know, she has a lot to learn from Buffy, and surprisingly, Buffy has a lot to learn from her. Unfortunately, her time is cut short due to a particular story arc involving Angel, where Drusilla, the vampire, he drove insane, and then she became a vampire, which affected her mental state, and she's basically insane. She ends up being, unfortunately, by Drusilla, literally. Unfortunate. So, Kendra dies, which activates the next Slayer, Faith, who is the yin to Buffy's yang. Faith starts off real wild and free. She literally has dark hair versus Buffy's blonde hair. She has an incredible story arc because she goes through a very, very bad phase. And then she is able to overcome it in the sister show Angel, which also has Cordelia. And both of them get redemption arcs in different ways. But Faith, her redemption arc is very, very important because her and Angel are able to bond in a way that her and Buffy never could. Because Faith has these, good, bad transitions, there's a lot to take in there. There is a wonderful dialogue between Buffy and Faith at the end of the series where Faith says, not maybe, but we were never supposed to coexist. That's the reason that we butt heads. The power isn't being dispersed correctly. Buffy is holding almost all of the power. And Faith, because she is active at the same time of her, although she's very powerful, she's not at the state of power that Buffy's in. Because of this, there's a lot of conflict throughout the series, but at the end, literally at the end, everything ends up working itself out and it's not an issue anymore. So, in addition to Buffy, which we'll talk about in other episodes because I'm obsessed, we're also going to pay recognition to our queen. At the same time she was filming Buffy, she also made a very iconic cameo in Scream 2. I will play one of my favorite clips and the inspiration for this tattoo.
Done. Someone's calling. Omega Beta Zeta.
Hello,
Yes?
who is this?
Cece. Who's this?
Who do you think?
Ted? Where are you? Are you drinking? Hold on. Ted's on the other line. He sounds drunk. I'll call you back.
That shit only calls you when he's drunk. Don't go over there, Cece.
All right. I'll call you back. Okay, Ted, you sound loaded. What's up?
Who's Ted?
Oh, I'm sorry, my bad. I thought you were someone else.
That's okay, I am.
Who are you calling for? Nobody's here.
Where is everybody?
We're co-sponsoring the Acid Rain Mixer at Phi Gamma Alpha tonight.
Why aren't you there?
I'm sober, sister. I need to be here in case a drunk sister calls and needs a ride.
That's too bad.
Drink with your brain. That's our motto.
I took notes. So, also at the same time, she was filming one of the lead characters, Helen Shivers, the Croaker Queen in I Know What You Did Last Summer. Really wish that they wouldn't have killed her off, but her death scene and everything leading up to it is very iconic. I'm also going to play that clip at the end because I just want to give a shout out to some other movies she was in. The classic Cruel Intentions 99. She was also in Scooby-Doo in 2002 and 2004, playing Daphne, which is absolutely perfect to me. She is currently on Dexter Original Sin. Her body of work is amazing, and she is my favorite, and we will continue to talk about her in other episodes. The following episodes this month are going to be focused on different tropes and horror and women, but sweet children of mine, this is the end of episode 3. As always, like, subscribe, share with your friends, and we'll see you next time.
Behind you!